What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 23 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the best abilities you should be using right now on defense. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you like it, if it helps you out, make sure to go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Shows a lot of support on the channel, helps the videos get noticed. Also, if you're brand new here, you were searching on YouTube for MUT 23 content, whether it's how to make coins, how to get free players, how to build your ultimate team, you found the right channel for everything. Stay a while, click that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on as well so you guys are alerted when we drop additional videos. Let's get right on into it. So we're going to be using mut.gg/abilities for the abilities on defense. This is a very good website, whether you need to look up prices on players, you want to see the best rates for training, you want to look up abilities and players that can get it at a discount. Make sure you got this website bookmarked. Yesterday, Monday, we did drop a video going over all of the best abilities on offense. So if you missed that video, we'll link it down below in the comment section as a pinned comment. As far as the defense goes, we're going to try to cover various positional groups, and we're going to start with your defensive line. So we're looking at abilities that are going to help you get to the quarterback, and I would say one of the best is going to be double or nothing. Ability description says pass rushers with this ability must spend double the pass rush points to perform a move, but are granted dominant wins. So if you didn't know, there's like a blocker resistance system built into the game, and it's all based off of points in a point system, and anytime you do like a move over and over again, it builds up resistance on the offensive line. Essentially, double or nothing helps you get to the passer. That's really all you need to know. And there's a handful of players that get it at 1 AP, and it's one of the better abilities, especially if you pair it with either Edge Threat or Edge Threat Elite, which we're going to talk about in a moment. So you can see newer cards like Bruce Smith, Mario Williams, really expensive LTD, Reggie White from the All Madden program, Aaron Donald, some of the better cards, some of the newer cards that can get it for 1 AP, and there's a lot of them. We got new cards that came out today with Team of the Week that aren't in the database yet, with Javon Curse that gets it for 1 AP as well. So like I said, there's a ton. I wouldn't spend more than 2 AP on this ability, but if you can put it on your DNs, it's the move. And then we have Edge Threat, and we'll talk about Edge Threat Elite in a moment here, but defenders with this ability use faster, more dominant pass rush moves while rushing from the edge of the defense. So you never want to use this on like a defensive tackle. It's really going to be outside linebackers or defensive ends, and this ability paired up with double or nothing is a headache, but there's an easy way to neutralize it. We talked about this in the offensive video yesterday. If you have edge protector on your offensive line, specifically your right and left tackles, it will pretty much neutralize this. So this is a very good ability when you're not going against edge protectors, but if you run into people that have them, which a lot of the community is using it right now, this ability gets nullified pretty easily. I have it on both of my defensive ends, but I am contemplating on removing it for that reason, because I'm just seeing so many people with edge protectors. But we talk about Cam Wake, Mario Williams are just a couple of the cards, Reggie White, that can get this for 2 and 1 AP. And again, if you can get this plus double or nothing for a total of 3 AP, it's a very good combination. Edge Threat Elite is going to do the same thing, but it's almost like Edge Threat plus under pressure in one ability. So you're still going to get the faster, more dominant pass rush moves, and you're going to apply significant QB pressure while rushing from the edge of the defense. So this, like I said, good combination. Only Micah Parsons and TJ Watt get it for 3 AP, and Bruce Smith, a legend that just came out this past weekend, gets it for 2 AP. I have that card on my team. I played like maybe 2 games with him. Didn't really get a ton of pressure. I think he had 1 sack in the 2 or 3 game span, but I can get that plus the double or nothing for 3 AP on it. So like I said, that's a great combination. Under pressure is another one that you can use on the D-line, but not just specifically for DNs. Defensive tackles are pretty good with this. I think it was more valuable earlier in the year. It doesn't seem to be as impactful now, but if you have like 1 or 2 AP that you need to use up on defense, you can throw this on somebody on your line. Defenders with this ability can apply pressure to the quarterback from a greater distance. Basically, it forces a bunch of pressure inaccurate throws, which can cause to obviously incompletions or possibly interceptions and make some game-changing plays for your defense. Defensive Rally is an ability that I don't think it's talked about enough, and if we start to see more players get it at a discount or possibly get it for free, it's almost going to be a must-have. So defenders with this ability will grant pass rush bonuses to all defensive linemen on 3rd and 4th down. We talked about the pass rush and the resistance. That's why Richard Seymour's still been a top-tier defensive tackle. Even though he's a 92 overall and the card's been out for a very long time, he gets it for free. And then the Dexter Lawrence LTD that came out a couple days ago, when he was about 400k, it was definitely worth the pickup. He's going up in price because he's out of packs, but that card has really good attributes and he can get it for 1 AP. Montez Sweat, Max Crosby, Frank Clark, there's a handful of guys that can get it for 1 AP, but the beauty of this is that it affects your entire defensive line, but just on 3rd and 4th downs. One other ability that you can use on your defensive tackles, and it's called inside stuff for a reason. Please don't use this on defensive ends that play at the end of your line or outside linebackers. Defenders with this ability use faster run shed moves for a better chance at shedding blocks against inside zone plays. And this works like against halfback dives as well, 0-1 traps, things of that nature. So it's not just inside zones. It's very, very good, and it works pretty much all the time. The only problem with this one is that it can be countered very easily. If you guys were unaware, if you're going against somebody who has inside stuff and you want to run an inside zone play or some type of dive or whatever, all you have to do is double team the player that has inside stuff activated, and that will pretty much neutralize it. But if you can get it for 1 AP, it's kind of like defensive rally. If you have 1 AP left on your defense, throw this on one of your DTs. You can see Dexter Lawrence gets it. Putting it on a guy like Lance Briggs, who's an outside linebacker, this is just a wasteful ability. You really just want to put it on defensive tackles. In my opinion, there aren't really many abilities that you want to spend your AP on when it comes to linebackers. Lurker's probably going to be the only one. Defenders with this ability can make jumping 180-degree interceptions while lurking in a zone in the middle of the field. I feel like it activates more than just the middle of the field though. The only thing with this is that, you don't need it for safeties and cornerbacks. It's mainly just for linebackers. So if you run a scheme where you have a lot of linebackers on the field, you might want to look for guys that can get it for 1 AP. Derek Brooks is one exception. He can get it for free, 0 AP. Therefore, he's on my team. Whenever he's in the game, it's mostly to stop the run, but I'll user that card in case my opponent goes like play action or ends up passing in a heavy run looking formation. We still have that lurker activated to try to get an interception. Now, when it comes to defensive backs, there's a lot of different options that you can go with abilities, and it can be based on the type of scheme that you run. So if you do a lot of zone coverage, you don't often play man coverage at all, you're going to want to take a look at these certain abilities, and it's going to depend on who can get it at a discount and what you're most comfortable with in your scheme. But deep out zone KO is very good. Okay, flat zone KO is very, very good. If we scroll down here, we're going to see deep in zone KO. So we just saw deep out, we got deep in as well. Mid zone KO, these pretty much are going to factor in as far as the where the defender is on the field. So like a mid zone KO, for example, is going to be good zone coverage. Defenders with this ability are going to force more catch knockouts and react quicker in midfield zone coverage. It's going to be anything between 10 and 20 yards essentially. So if you find that you have a lot of opponents that you go against who run those medium routes, the 10 to 20 yards, mid zone KO is going to be what you want to do. Now again, you're going to want to try to maneuver your 12 AP around this. If you can get a guy who has mid zone KO for 1 AP and you can get like a deep out zone KO on him for 1 AP and you can get both of those for 2, that's going to be the move. Of course, you're going to use this website to find out all of the players that can get it at a discount, and as you can see, there's a very long list of players that get mid-zone KO for 1 AP. We briefly talked about flat zone KO. This is basically the same thing mid-zone does, but it's anything that's going to be 10 yards and under. Again, scroll through the list, look at all the players that can get it for 1 AP, and if it's somebody that you want, you might want to take a look at them. And then finally, we have deep out zone KO, and there's also the deep in zone KO, which pretty much do the same thing. It's just either inside or outside the hash marks. So with deep out zone KO, defenders with this ability force more catch knockouts and react quicker in deep zone coverage, which is going to be 20 yards and plus from the line of scrimmage and outside the hash marks. So the in one is going to be inside the hash marks. This is really good for free safeties and strong safeties that you don't have playing in the box. Basically, they're a safety net. They're playing over top. Sean Taylor's a new card that just got it for 1 AP. Look at Steve Atwater's a really, really good safety that you can put it on. Minka Fitzpatrick, a good discounted ability on a relatively inexpensive card. So, some really good players out there, and you can put it on your corners as well, because if you're playing, streaks on the outside, that's going to be outside of the hash. And a lot of times those passes are going to be outside 20 yards. Now, if you play a lot of man coverage, and this is typically what I do, we're going to look for deep route KO and medium route KO. There's also a short route KO, but I don't tend to use that one too often. It's more about the deep and the medium. and it's going to be the same as far as the yardage goes. So the short route KO is going to be 10 yards and under. The medium route KO is going to be 10 to 20, and the deep route is going to be 20 plus. Defenders with this ability force more catch tackle knockouts in man-to-man versus medium routes. Like I said, medium's going to be 10 to 20 yards. So I'm sure you've gone against this a handful of times. You throw a corner route or some type of route that appears to be open, and you got like 2 yards of separation on the defender, and all of a sudden they play catch up and they knock the ball loose, and you probably want to throw your controller. This is the ability that's causing that. So if you run a heavy man scheme, you're going to want to look into players that get medium route KO and deep route KO at a discount. And as you can see, a guy like Patrick Peterson, Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner, whenever he gets another upgrade, that card's going to be very good. But you can see there's only a handful of them that get it for a discount on medium. The deep route KO guys, the list is a little bit longer. And Deion Sanders, the free card that you could have earned from the Season 2 Field Pass is in there. You take a look at a budget option like the 92 overall most feared Jalen Ramsey. So there's some pretty good options out there with the deep route KO. Now, something that I highly recommend on all of your defensive backs, if you can afford it, is going to be pick artists. And I literally have this on 8 different players. We have it on 4 safeties and 4 cornerbacks. There's a handful of players that get it for free, and I think more are going to be coming. So when you look at a Night Train Lane, Steve Atwater is very good to get it for free. Jeremy Chinn's one of my favorite players in the game. He gets it for free. We just mentioned Patrick Peterson with the mid-route KO. Well, he gets pick artists for free. Defenders with this ability have a higher chance to catch uncontested interceptions, and they have an unlimited stamina on the return, which that one doesn't really play a part to me. Now, it does say uncontested interceptions, but it seems to light up and affect a lot of interceptions on people who like to throw aggressive catches. So you've all been there. You faced a Harold Carmichael or Megatron or Randy Moss. You get into these one-on-one situations. Pick artist actually lights up. Sometimes you have to click on, sometimes you do not, but it's really helpful against them. Now, is it going to stop those 100% of the time? Absolutely not. But another great thing about pick artists here is that if the ball basically gets tipped, right, and you have another defender in the close enough area, they're going to come up, and if they have pick artists activated, 9 times, probably 9.7 times out of 10, they're going to complete that interception rather than getting that fluky drop. Tip drill is very similar. It's just not as good in my opinion, but players with this ability have an increased chance to catch passes that have been tipped in the air. So you're not going to get those interceptions before a tip from tip drill, but if you have players that can get this for free, Tariq Woolen gets it for free. The most feared Stephon Gilmore, which is a bit of an outdated card, but at its time, in his prime, was a very good card that got that for free. And if more cards tend to get it for free and it doesn't take up an ability slot where you want to utilize something else that might be at a discount, tip drill is very, very good. And we will close out the video with Acrobat, which if you played Madden 22, this is basically the best ability that you could have on defense. And it's still very good. Like, it doesn't work any, worse than it did last year. It's just a little bit too expensive in a lot of situations, but we're starting to see a lot of players get it for 2 AP, and I think it's only a matter of time before we possibly see players get it for 1 AP. And I think with all of these discounts, we're not really going to see an AP increase as far as like your offense and defense go. I think it's going to stay at 12 for the majority of the year. Maybe towards the very end of the year, they might up it, but because so many players get these abilities at a discount, that's where you can kind of build your team around it. And that's why abilities are so important this year, more than any other year. But ability description for Acrobat: defenders with this ability will die for increased range on pass breakups and interceptions. You just make some crazy plays with it. So Night Train Lane, Big Play Slay, Patrick Peterson, Derek Brooks actually gets it. These are all players that get it for 2 AP. I still don't have any of these on my field, but if we start to see them for 1 AP, and if we get anybody with free Acrobat, best believe you're going to see the meta change on defense, and a lot of people are going to be out there rocking Acrobats on their safeties and their cornerbacks. So that's it. If there's any abilities on defense you think I left out, leave it down below in the comment section. And thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.